Today I got 14 retirement realities of a 60-year-old that you rarely or never heard on YouTube. So if I've heard this before, I tried to cut it out, but I still got 14 things that have been part of my retirement that I think you should know about. So I tried to get out the things that you've heard maybe 100 times, 10 times, 5 times even. Plus, hold on to the very end. Some of you like that I add some vacation videos. I got a 19-second video on our trip to Florida where one of the stops was Silver Springs, where we did kayaking with manatees. So it was pretty cool. It's around Ocala, Florida, if you're interested. That'll be added to the end. So let's jump right into this. There are 14 of them. Number 1, the loss of ego never happened to me. A lot of people talk about it. You know, I had a job, I had an important job. I was a plant manager, worked as an engineer, corporate resource for reliability and maintenance. Never happened. Day one, not an issue. I love being just Joe. So I don't know. I don't know why that happened to me, but I love it. Number 2 is I'm sleeping 9 to 9.5 hours a night. Never take a nap. Always took naps on a weekend day when I was working. I tried to sleep 7 hours during the week when I was working. Sometimes I got that, sometimes I didn't. I sleep a lot, but I feel great. Number 3, I watch very little TV versus when I was working. When I was working, I'd come home from work. I was tired, didn't want to engage in anything. It just kind of vegged out. That's what Monday through Friday was like for me. My wife loved to talk during that time. I was just wanting to avoid people. But I may watch an hour a day now, watch very little sports. I do spend some time on YouTube, but I'm always trying to learn something there. So yeah, got a lot of things I'm working on, and it's not TV. Number 4, you can change hobbies during retirement and change what you're retiring to. When I retired, I was planning on consulting in reliability and maintenance. It was 2019. We all know what happened in 2020. The consulting business all dried up. I started doing YouTube on reliability and maintenance. That changed into YouTube on retirement. My daughter bought a home with some home repairs needed, some changes, just added some double doors to create an office. Just finished that project actually today, doing some babysitting for my granddaughter just when I want to. My wife and I are partnering in that. So things change, 6 years in. I love that. I love that. Number 5, I needed to learn to say no a lot. I don't hear anybody else talking about this. I'm telling you, you're going to get asked to volunteer for 100 things. Every yes you say is going to be no to 2, 3, 4 other things. So be careful in your selection and when you say yes to something. Best advice somebody gave me, say no to everything for 6 months. And I did that. Just don't volunteer for anything. Don't sign up for any hobbies. It's okay to take some travel, vacations, but say no. Say no. Hey, folks, if we have not met, my name is Joe. I retired when I was 54 years old. I was at the peak of my career, peak of my income, decided I had enough meaning money. I would have said at that time I loved my job. I think I did. But it was time for another chapter. So I'm I'm telling my story to help you on your journey. Maybe retire a couple years earlier because you have the confidence by hearing one man's journey. If you like this content, give me a like, give me a subscribe. It helps spread this message to more people. Also, if you're not reading the comments, you're missing out. You're missing out. I read them all every day. I'm still able to keep up with them. There's gold in there, a lot of great ideas. And all my video ideas come from your comments. So let's jump to number 6. one scheduled task a day is enough. So, I used to have a full schedule. I still use an electronic calendar to track doctor's appointments and, time I need to babysit, things like that. But I try not to schedule more than one thing on a day. So if I have to babysit my granddaughter for 2 hours and then another activity comes up, I'll try to schedule that for another day, because I like my exercise routine. I like to read the news. I like to learn a little bit. I like to cook, spend time with friends and family, spouse. So one thing a day is plenty for me. Number 7. This one's on the not so good side. I'm starting to see a lot of deaths and health issues of people that are my age. A recent video, I talked about a classmate of mine for 12 years, grade school and high school, that died in a car accident out in Kansas in that dust storm. Her name was Stephanie. And I've had a childhood friend have a heart attack. I've had a childhood friend with stage 4 cancer. It hits harder. I'm not sure why. These things in my 50s were very unfortunate, very sad, but the couple that have happened in my 60th year, this year, have hit me like 3 times as hard. And I assume that may be related to me realizing that I'm no longer young. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But death is hitting me a little bit harder now. Number 8, 24/7 is a lot of time with your spouse. This was probably my area where I was least prepared. I worked a lot on money, setting up where my money was located, some travel, what I was retiring to, but the time with my spouse going from, on an average Tuesday of, 4 or 5 hours to 16 is a lot. Make sure you have those discussions on expectations. Am I allowed to be on some journeys by myself? What journeys are you going to be on by yourself? What are we going to do together? Just start those conversations. And I highly recommend you be on some journeys by yourself. Don't be together 24/7. Maybe I'm evil for saying that, but that's my 2 cents. Number 9, another downer. I may have to give up running. I like to run 2 days a week. I run some stairs. I do HIIT training. It's pretty exhausting what I do, but it's kind of high impact and it's starting to hurt my legs. I've been nursing a problem with my right knee for a couple months now, and I think I may need to give that up and go to, zero impact, my elliptical, which I do a lot already, and lift weights, but I may have to give up the high impact running and running of stairs. Disappointing. I enjoy it. Number 10, I worry less about money in retirement than I did planning to retire, which I didn't think made any sense. But now that I've jumped into retirement, got a plan, and I've taken some safety. I'm currently 80/20 equities to fixed. Got 10 years in what I call bucket 1, that's in the fixed, 10 years of expenses. That's net of my income streams. That's fixed. Retirement. Got a small pension, got a deferred comp coming in, and some YouTube revenue. This YouTube revenue really pays for my Roth conversions. I've said that in a couple videos and several comments. But I just don't worry about money. When I was planning to retire, like the previous year, it's all I did was make another spreadsheet and spend time looking at things. Now, once a quarter, I spend a couple hours max looking at things and stress testing things. I'll make a future video on that. Number 11, every retirement plan is wrong. Everyone is wrong. The important thing about a retirement plan is knowing the levers. And when I say levers, that means what do slight changes in inflation do to your plan, to your probability of success? Do you run out of money? What do slight changes in rates of return? What about mortality? What about timing of Social Security? What about one-time expenses or maintenance expenses on your house? What do those things do to your retirement plan? Know your levers, and the key to a retirement plan is being able to adapt. It's about adapting and knowing the levers, okay? There's no plan that will be right, okay? None. Needs to adapt, know the levers. Number 12, there's no perfect portfolio. There's just trade-offs in risk. You know, if you tell me the S&P 500 is going to go up 15% a year for the next 10 years, I'll go 100% in S&P 500. We don't know what the future holds. You know, and some people will be right saying, hey, you're a fool for going 80-20 or 60-40. Well, you can only know that in rears and looking back at history. So there's no perfect portfolio, so don't eat up all your time and having regrets about, I should have done this, I should have done that. The key to me is diversify and make very little moves. Just let the portfolio play out. And if somebody does great, let them feel good about doing great. But, you know, diversify, don't try for perfect. Number 13, and I'm starting to say this a lot, and I do get some negative comments on it, but it's something that I don't hear on YouTube. I had no knowledge of this before I retired. It is foolish to go it alone. That is, to create your retirement plan all by yourself in Excel, even in Boldin software, and just say, hey, it all looks good. This is easy. This is what I'm going to do. I'm telling you, you got errors in your plan. I give you a lot of options for not going it alone. Some of them are free. Some of them cost a little money, but very little money. I'm not talking about 1% assets under management. You need to look at options to not go it alone. The $300 review plan that I have links to is outstanding, and the comments are overwhelmingly positive for that. Number 14, confidence to spend money was a surprise for me. And I don't hear this talked about enough. A little bit, but just saying, hey, take out 4% and everything's fine. Well, that all sounds fine when the market's up 8, 10%. But when the market's down, having confidence to spend money is a big deal. I had to develop a process for what I was going to do to ensure that I, did not put off, my 60s, being 61, 60 now, 61, 62, 63. I don't want to put off the epic plans I have for retirement because the market's down. So I plan for that. And how do I get confidence knowing that I'm going to have enough money in my 80s and even 90s if it comes to that? So there you go. There's my 14. Hold on for the Silver Springs video. Show out.